When was the last time you wore something that truly fit you perfectly? I'm not talking about, oh, it's okay if I tuck it in this way or that way, or if I pin it some way. I'm talking about it truly fit you perfectly. Most of us never have, and it's not our fault. The fashion industry today wasn't built on individuality. It's built for mass production. What is fast fashion? Fast fashion is a system where clothing is made extremely rapidly in large quantities to keep up with the ever-changing fashion trends. It uses unethical labor practices and a lot of environmental wastes in order to keep up with the demand for the products. The cost of fast fashion varies greatly. Firstly, we need to talk about several key issues. Sizing. Most people who have worn clothes know that standard sizing doesn't work for everybody. Where, especially for women, identical pairs of pants can be labeled small, medium, or large depending on the store. It's time-consuming, frustrating, and makes us feel that the problem is our bodies instead of the clothes. But that can be changed. With 3D printing, fast fashion can be pushed to the side, and sustainable, ethical fashion can be put as the new norm. According to the United Nations Environmental Impact Report, the fashion industry is responsible for approximately 92 million tons of fabric waste every year, and less than 15% of that gets recycled. Additionally, according to the Carbon Literacy Project, 10% of all of global carbon emissions are responsible by the fashion industry. That is more than both international flights and shipping combined. Additionally, in order to produce just one t-shirt and one pair of pants, most standard and fast fashion factories consume about 20,000 liters of fresh water, which depletes our Earth's natural resources. So yeah, it's not really about style anymore. It's a system that's hurting people and our planet. What is 3D printing? For those of you that don't know, 3D printing is a method where we can create designs that take up all 3 dimensions of space. Basically what happens is that the 3D printer uses a material called a filament, which is a long, thin, spaghetti-like material that's plastic, and it's melted down into a liquid that is deposited in very thin layers onto a plate. In order to create designs, the 3D printer imports a design algorithm that you can make by yourself using various technologies in order to render the design. Each layer is very microscopic, and it allows for hyper-specificity and flexibility of the clothing. And this isn't a futuristic idea, it's something that's already happening. Adidas and Nike are making high-performance athletic footwear that are lighter and tailored to your feet, which allows athletes to perform to the best of their abilities while they're racing, running, or even just hanging out with friends. Additionally, NASA has started producing 3D printed spacesuits, which allow astronauts to move through zero gravity much easier, and the suit is actually able to morph into their body parts, which allows for freedom of movement. Additionally, stunning runway pieces display the versatility of 3D printed clothing. For example, the Dutch designer Iris van Herpen has created these runway pieces that showcase how different materials can be combined from the filament to create these designs. You might be thinking, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a designer, I'm not a scientific researcher. What can I do to be part of the solution and not part of the problem? Well, the first thing is you can reduce demand for fast fashion by recycling your clothes and learning how to tailor your clothes instead of throwing them away so that you aren't contributing to the constant need to produce more and more fast fashion. Additionally, you can access free software such as Tinkercad or Blender that have user-friendly interfaces that teach you how to use 3D design technology softwares. Additionally, we have several community makerspaces around Montgomery County that have free classes that teach you how to use a 3D printer and how to design your own unique designs, such as Mogul Makers and the Rockwell Science Center. Lastly, you can support local businesses that focus on ethical and sustainable production, even asking questions such as, where was this made? Or what happens when this piece of clothing is thrown away? Can help shift the industry. Fashion is one of the most personal ways that we express ourselves. For decades, we've accepted waste, overproduction, and exploitation as the norm. However, 3D printing can rewrite those rules. So the next time you're getting dressed or going online shopping or scrolling through new fashion trends, stop and ask yourself, what if my clothes were made differently? What if I could print them myself? What if they were made for me? Because pretty soon, with some innovation, community effort, and a little creative spirit, they will be. The future of fashion is personal, sustainable, and in your hands. Thank you.